Welcome one and all to a very special build. This video will help you to create a character who can go through Skyrim on legendary difficulty without getting a single kill to their name. Not only have I made this build video, but I also have completed my own Skyrim no kill challenge run on the channel, which you can watch right now if you want to see just how to get to the end of a game without killing anything. Make sure to check the description of the video for timestamps and an in-depth breakdown of character stats. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, so you can watch all the future builds and challenge runs I make. With a name like Deathkill, it was no surprise he was once a bandit. The man had been born into the tribe, raised by thieves and murderers. He seemed to possess a good heart, but because of his unusual upbringing, his moral compass was a fair bit different to most. He viewed theft and manipulation of others as a means to an end, and only truly saw killing someone as an evil act. This set him apart from most other bandits. Whereas they were more than happy to cut down people in order to take their gold, Deathkill would never strike down a foe. Instead, he would try a myriad of other tactics. He'd barter with travelling merchants, setting up a toll to safely get through the roads, and sneak into travellers' camps at the dead of night to steal their valuables whilst they slept. These actions created tension with the other bandits. They viewed him as weak for refusing to kill, and would often taunt him for it. None of them ever took things too far though. Deathkill was a large man with a muscular frame. He was stronger than anyone else the bandits had ever seen, and knowing he wouldn't kill you was little compensation when he would still break your arms and bloody your nose if he was forced to. For a long time, Deathkill saw being a bandit as the only way to live. Like many others, he followed the path that presented itself to him, merely following the status quo. Everything changed one day when the bandits were raiding a Khajiit caravan. The others had set about the cat people, carving them down where they stood, but he refused to get involved in the fight, instead having to stand by and watch, knowing he could do nothing to prevent what was taking place. As he was watching, he saw one Khajiit run from the battle as fast as he could, his dark fur blown backwards by the wind as he sprinted away from his previous life. Things seemed so simple when he saw the Khajiit running. It was at this point he realised he could just leave. There was nothing here for him with the bandits, and he could make a life for himself elsewhere. He gathered his things that night and set off to the north, heading to the border of Skyrim. None of the bandits stopped him from leaving, all eager to be rid of his presence. It was a long road to the northern realm, but he was able to get by with ease. There were enough travellers on the road he could steal from to survive, and he knew the plants of the land well, providing him with enough to eat as he walked. When he did reach Skyrim, he decided to start looking around for a new place to start his life. He ventured through the various holds, seeking out purpose within his new homeland. He was still searching when he came to Darkwater Crossing. He set up camp here for the night, and was awoken by the sounds of fighting. By the time he rose, the battle appeared to be over, but this didn't help his situation. A half-dozen Imperial soldiers had blades pointed at him, and he saw no way out of the situation alive. He was forced onto a cart, and as it started moving, he hoped that there was some greater destiny in store for him than simply being a victim of the headsman's axe. The main skills of this build are Alchemy, Enchanting, Alteration, and Illusion. Alchemy was the first skill I focused on power leveling, and is arguably the most critical to the entire build. To start things off, you can get a great cash flow going by crafting expensive potions and selling them to various merchants. Once your skill is high enough, you can start making a supply of paralysis poisons to deal with enemies, and also beneficial potions to heal yourself and provide various other buffs. Enchanting is a great skill for any character who just overall wants to be better. I've spoken about this skill so many times in past builds now, as it's a regular main skill for my characters. Go up the middle path to extra effect and you'll find yourself with more enchantments than you know what to do with. The Alteration skill will provide two primary functions, the first of which is magic resistance. 3 ranks of this perk will get you a solid 30% resist magic effect, which is nothing to be ignored. The second function is based around the paralysis spell. This is obviously helpful for taking enemies out of the fight temporarily, but it can also be used against dragons, to stagger them and stop their attacks. Finally, in our main skills we have Illusion, and this should be pretty straightforward. The primary purpose of this will be calming enemies. I have no idea how many times I cast Calm in my playthrough, but it was likely in the hundreds. You'll also gain a few extra neat things from this skill, including Muffle and Quiet Casting, both of which will help you stay hidden. The additional skills for the build are Smithing, Speech, Sneak, and Pickpocket. I ended up raising Smithing all the way to 100, and was tempted to put it as a main skill, but honestly, you can get by with it not being so much of a focus. Its only real purpose is to improve your armor rating, and help you to stay alive if things go bad. The Speech skill will make you more money faster. That's about it. Sadly, Skyrim doesn't really have all that much use for speech checks, but there are 1 or 2 times when a high speech skill can help with that too. Sneak was a skill I originally thought would be a main skill of the build, but all you really need to do is get a rank of Stealth and then get the skill up a few levels. Enchanting and Alchemy can do a fair bit of the heavy lifting when it comes to Stealth, however a high Sneak skill is still incredibly helpful to have. Finally, we come to Pickpocket. There are a few times in the game where you need to get an item off of an NPC who the game expects you to kill. Obviously, you aren't going to kill them, so instead you'll need to rummage through their pockets to get whatever you're after. If you want any more details about the skills of a build, then there will be an in-depth breakdown of the end stats of a character in the description below. Your priority when leveling with this build will be Magicka. For the most part you avoid combat, so you won't need too much extra health, and stamina can be ignored entirely. You will want to switch up the Standing Stone to suit your situation. I spent most of my time using the Guardian Stones in order to level faster. However, the Lord Stone and Action Arc Stone are great help early on if you need to charge past some enemies. There are several useful powers for this build, the first of which is Voice of the Emperor, the Imperial Racial Power. This is an area of effect calm spell, and is of great use early on, before you've become a master of illusion magic. Multiple shouts can be of use to this build, but as you aren't killing dragons you will have a very limited number of souls to spend, so use them sparingly. One particularly helpful shout though is Become Ethereal, granting you temporary immortality, which I shouldn't even need to explain the benefits of. The main weapons I used with this build were a longbow and iron dagger. Obviously weapons don't actually matter all that much, and for me they were simply a way to deliver paralysis poisons to enemies. You want to make sure that you're using the weakest weapons you can get your hands on though, as you don't want to risk hurting your enemies too badly. The armour for this build is a little more in depth. I went with a full suit of a light chitin armour, complete with a shield, as well as a ring and necklace. This is a set that's relatively easy to both obtain and improve somewhat early in the game, and with the right know-how you can get yourself up to the armour cap eventually. I'll be leaving full detailed stats of this armour in the description of the video if you want to see exactly how I tailored my armour to suit my needs. If you're just after a brief overview of enchantments to go for, then I would heavily recommend Fortify Sneak, Resist Fire or Resist Magic to help defend against dragons, and both Fortify Alteration and Illusion to reduce spell costs. In addition to all this, you'll also need to make yourself a crafting suit, in order to vastly improve your smithing and alchemy capabilities. I'll also be leaving the details of my own suit in the description, but the basics is just throwing Fortify Smithing and Fortify Alchemy onto as much stuff as possible. I was playing this build as part of a challenge run, to complete the main story without getting a single kill to my name, so my focus was on that. However, there are still some factions I ended up joining. The two most important ones to join are the Thieves Guild and the College of Winterhold. The Thieves Guild plays well into a no-kill playstyle, and will also allow you to get some great early game armour that benefits a lot of what you do. Bonus points for opening up the option to get the Blackguard's armour near the start of the game too, as this is insanely helpful to have for the character. The College of Winterhold will provide you with an alchemy and enchanting room, as well as a nice place to stay with plenty of merchant skill trainers, who you can use to help power level the build. Additionally, I ended up joining the Companions at one point, in order to help with my smithing, although this isn't necessarily essential. You cannot use followers with this build. Follower kills count towards your own, so you have to travel solo. If you do feel like a bit of companionship though, then you can always say hi to Gerald the Mudcrab on your way to Whiterun. In case you haven't gathered so far, this is a challenge build. One in which the aim is to get through the game without getting a single kill to your name. This makes the character a very challenging one to play. You're essentially an illusion-based thief who can also tank damage if he gets stuck in combat. This covers the 3 main ways to get around quests in Skyrim without chopping everyone to pieces. You can sneak past, calm everyone, or just charge your way through and hope you can handle the damage you're taking. This is the basic overview of how to get through things, but if you want to get a more in-depth look at how to play the character, then you should take a look at my Skyrim no-kill challenge run, as you'll be able to see the character go from the very start to the very end of the game. Thank you all for watching this latest build, and a special thanks to those of you who stuck with me through my Skyrim no-kill series too. I have started a Patreon page, in the hopes I will be able to bring more of these challenge runs and builds to you all in the future. If you want to help me on the path to doing this full time, then Patreon is arguably the best way to do that. If you want a cash-free way to help me, then why not subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with some friends, as all of these help out way more than you probably realise. Thank you all again, and I wish you luck as you attempt for yourself Skyrim no-kill.